What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the data points, what moved it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi did go up 2.38%, 29.01 the low, 30.37 the high, but very low volume. So 56 million shares being traded, 76 is the average. So there was a couple of different things really affecting SoFi. One was Upstart. So Upstart did have their earnings, wasn't necessarily the best. So of course, I think Wall Street always does compare Upstart and SoFi because being the fintech lenders out there. So I think that's one attributing factor why SoFi did get dragged down a little bit. Plus, after hours, Robinhood is unveiling the earnings and potentially how that plays out. That could really impact SoFi as well. And maybe that's why SoFi is going down exactly right now. But nonetheless, there was a lot of good data points that did come out. So early on, we did have ADP employment. So because of the whole shutdown, we haven't had that much in labor data, and that's why Powell pretty much couldn't really confirm a cut for the upcoming December meeting, and why he kind of stuck to the, hey, neutral standpoint. But this ADP employment change did come in at 42,000, forecast of 20,000. Very good stuff. But of course, the market doesn't really want positive labor data. It wants somewhat negative, not overly negative, just enough to justify a rate cut. Because of this positive data, it did cause this to go down. So right now there's a 64.5% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut for the upcoming December 10th meeting. We also have a big data point coming out tomorrow morning, and that is challenger job cuts. So we'll kind of wait and see how that plays out. But nonetheless, market did like this positive data. ISM services also did come in at 52.4, forecast of 50.8. So anything above 50 shows more of an expansion. So definitely that was good. The only other thing that kind of came out was this. So early on in the morning, Trump was scheduling a weight loss drug announcement and then predicts stock market highs. And I believe he even did a tweet or something saying that the markets recently hit like 11, 12 records or something like that. Most likely he's kind of taking credit for it. I don't really care how he takes credit for it. As long as he keeps saying the things he's saying and really pushing the market higher, I don't think anyone's going to complain. So nonetheless, this is why you did see the market really move higher. And plus, maybe one underlying point as well is yesterday it was just being artificially suppressed through algorithmic trading. Big money was buying up the dip across the board. So maybe just it was all the combination pieced together. That's what prompted institutions just to buy the dip. So let me know your thoughts on that. Midway throughout the day, SoFi also did put out news. So financial specialist Vivian Tu, your rich BFF, named SoFi's first chief of financial empowerment. So kind of interesting stuff. I don't really, even though this individual looks like 10 million followers across her platforms, I don't really see this being a crazy catalyst, nor is it a reason to sell. It's a good FYI, ultimately. So let me know your thoughts on that. The only other thing that kind of came out was posted by Lucid Insider, signaling that Anthony Noto is getting 2 million shares. That's as long as SoFi closed above $22 today, which of course I think was fair to assume that it was going to. And this is all from back in 2021. So June 2021, the compensation committee granted a PSU award of 6.4 million shares. And so ultimately there was certain milestones. So 25, 35, and 45. So ultimately SoFi needed to close above, for instance, a VWAP of 90 days over $25. And I guess today was that 90th trading day. So turns out he's going to be getting 2 million shares. I did see some questions in the comments whether this is dilution or not. Technically it is, but in all fairness, without these awards, possibly the argument could be made that maybe Anthony wouldn't have been as ambitious or kind of strived for these targets. Because yeah, if not, then why would he really be hustling as much as he has been? So I feel like these awards are very much necessary, even though it is dilution. One thing as well to take note of though, is that currently there's about 1.2 billion outstanding shares. So kind of diluting 2 million, it's just a drop in the bucket. So don't pay attention to anyone really kind of spinning that as a bearish narrative, because it definitely is not. Aside from all that fun stuff, shorts, they did increase 83,000 shares. So again, a drop in the bucket, absolutely nothing. 8.38% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 99.23 million shares overall being shorted. DTC is still fairly high, 1.44 days. Cost to borrow average is 0.49. That's an annual rate, not a daily rate. So definitely good to see shorts continuing to return. Aside from that though, looking at the options, we had 38 million in calls, 9.07 million in puts. 46% of all the options being done were bullish in nature. This one stands out. So there was about 2.7 million in premiums between 10:35 and 10:40. So quickly popping this open, sorting it based on premiums. So it looks like it was a multi-leg transaction. You can tell that based on kind of the timestamp right here, a fairly large one in fact, but primarily it looks like it was bearish. A $31 call was sold, so maybe just locking in some profits. Looks like a iron condor actually, but nonetheless, that's kind of where that volume did come from. Aside from that, from a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be above $32 by the end of this week. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 29, and then you have this random pocket of 27. I don't know where that's coming from, possibly maybe a pullback because of Robinhood's earnings or something like that, but that's kind of what the bears are anticipating, with today being Wednesday and just a hop, skip, and a jump away until Friday. This is the open interest. So you have 19,000 at the 30, 18,000 at the 31. Those are kind of the big ones to kind of pay attention to. And then best case scenario, I guess, if SoFi can close above 32, because there's 36,000 at that level. These are some of the big transactions that did occur on the secondary market, majority of which are buys, but 43.9, 15.8, 5.4 million. So big money still getting into SoFi, which is always good. And then these are some of the transactions that did occur on the dark pool. So big one being 25.2, 9.02, then 3.3. So no 100+ million today, which whatever it is, what it is. But it kind of goes to show exactly just the psychology now looking at this every single day. So whenever you see like 25.2 million, it's just like, cool, no 100 million. It's crazy how that does always really affect you. And again, I know I've brought this up in the past, but when I first started to cover SoFi, seeing a $1 million transaction, that was like, hey man, that's crazy. Someone knows something. But now it's just like, cool, 1.4 million, good stuff. Congrats. It's like nothing special, but nonetheless, with it at 30.07, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 29.03 is going to be a strong support, and then 31.98 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. This is looking at the 1-day chart on a side note. So the bulls are anticipating for it to pretty much be hugging this R1. Bears are anticipating for it to be between this pivot and this S1. So a lot of volatility is ultimately anticipated over the next couple of trading days. On the actual chart itself, it was able to kind of fight back. It's been really flirting with that 10-day moving average over the last couple of trading days. Today it did lag a little bit, but I don't know if it just had to do with the impending Robinhood earnings as well as Upstart, but I personally did feel that SoFi was kind of lagging a little bit. Other fintechs and just a lot of other growth stocks, but maybe that was just me. Still, regardless, it did close above that 10-day moving average, which is always good. Stochastic RSI smack dab in the middle, so it's neutral, not really overbought nor oversold. Nothing really crazy for articles. Couple, I guess, articles coming out about their news about the Your Rich BFF, so that Vivian 2. I'll have to do a little bit of research on her. I've never really heard of her. I know, shocking. But for those of you that are familiar with her, what's she famous for? Like what's the big deal like about her? So I know that might sound ignorant, but I legitimately have no idea. So let me know your viewpoint on that. And there was no new analyst ratings, which is rather surprising. So I think there's still a good maybe like 3 or 4 that haven't given any ratings that probably should. So you do have these individuals right here that most likely will be giving ratings, I assume, probably going into next week or something. So we'll just have to wait and see. But all in all, this is what affected SoFi today. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.